Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we are getting into some more Tower of God Webtoon, and I feel like we're really starting to ramp things up, okay? Because I feel like all the players are starting to get to where they need to be in order for things to go a bit haywire. So we ditched Jinsung in the last one, which I thought was actually clever on Kun's behalf. I think he was a little bit of a rocky footing there for a little bit, but it seems like he's got his mojo back at least a little bit as we move forward. Unfortunately, Wangnan was also impaled through his wrist, which is an image that is burned into my skull for the rest of my life now. Him and Yun have been captured by Rachel and that group. I feel like I shouldn't be like Rachel is the main one anymore, because I feel like Hoaqin has stepped in to the role as the one that I am more worried about. Rachel just infuriates me, but like he's scary and now knows that bomb exists, which is also terrifying, given that we have been told multiple times that bomb is not powerful enough to win in that fight. It's probably fine, right? Moving forward now, we've decided that we are in fact going to meet up with this hell train again and meet up with our friends and others, assorted others. I guess just jump into the chapters and see what ride we're gonna be on this time. Not to say ride and then we're immediately doing stuff that is directly involved with the hell train, but wooden horse. That seems very Trojan, which it makes me anxious because that's usually not good. I love that Bodo just has a couple of buddies with him. One of dubious loyalty, but we'll see. I don't know why we gotta poke fun at him, okay? All that stuff about his size before, and now we're calling him a hillbilly. Interesting to call them the station's a safe house, though. Interesting. How long will that last? Again, it's giving Trojan, right? Which wasn't exactly safe. Interesting is a bit of a liminal space, right? Of even saying like the middle area before is like where it's stationed, but also is no one is allowed to interfere with the hell train. That doesn't seem to be a rule that everybody is continuing to follow in more recent events, but this idea of no one is allowed to mess with the process of this particular thing. Therefore, there's a certain independence from the other structures and powers that be. Yeah, scary. Agreed. I guess like for regulars, yeah. If rankers are like, we don't get involved, then that kind of makes it a bit of a battle royale, right? It's cute though. It's a little ominous in the scanning thing, but it's cute, those little wings. Okay, so we got a time limit. 1 hour that it'll be there, 30 minutes to get on. I feel like this is all being set up because that is going to be an important thing for us to know, especially if like Bomb and Co are going to be trying to get on the train, that a time limit may be an important piece of information to hold on to later. Okay, so 30 minutes off, 30 minutes on. Gotcha. All right, so there's a whole process we gotta wait for. Yeah, I'm like, someone's gonna be trying to get you for those tickets. Love the optimism of it's gonna be a complete disaster. Lounge. Is this implying that we are going to be leaving the train at some point? Are we going to be unboarding and then coming back on? Pit stop? I guess they have what they want. Do they just want Hoaqin, or are we trying to get somewhere? He does seem like a nut job, yes. Agreed. But like a very scary, capable nut job. Good question. Also, is he sweating because he's scared, or is he sweating because he's injured and we've just tied him up and left him on the floor? At least they treated him, maybe? Waynan's just done. I have nothing left in the pleasantries. Interesting is that cancer cells are also living cells. Just because calling something a cancer and you're saying it is like this awful disease that infects something, but cancer is not only living cells, it's your own self, right? You have like the mutation in the cells, but it's still you. Just an interesting comparison, especially with the families, right? If we're going to point out Foog and like the corruption of that and all of the flaws in that particular group, it is like a product of the system around it, right? Foog is a direct response to the structure and power dynamic that already exists in the tower. So it is like this weird dynamic of like, it has a lot of the same foundation of other parts of the tower, but mutated to be like its own thing and in direct opposition to the survival of that system that the tower is currently operating on. Not to dig too much into a throwaway line, but ooh, okay, we took a dark turn on that subject matter. Why? Is this like a backstory moment? Because that'd be pretty messed up too. Interesting to have the comparison of a sword to a scalpel, right? Both are used to cut, but one is like a weapon of war and one is like precision and medical treatment, fixing the problem. Again, you can sit here and be like holier than thou of I am from one of the 10 families and Foog is the bad guys. You can have that black or white thinking, but again, Foog is a direct response to the system around it, and that system is built and upheld by the 10 families. So it's interesting. Maybe take a look in the mirror before we start throwing around judgments on other people and the system in which they choose to operate. Oh god. Okay, so we're gonna unleash him on the station. I was gonna say, it seems like maybe we're like gonna get off of the train, cause some chaos in the time that we have before we have to board again. And I guess if you leave at the beginning of that half hour of people getting off and then you board at the last moment, you have almost an hour to do with what you please whilst in the station where rankers aren't in general going to interfere. I wouldn't expect the help either, given what little we know of the backstory, but there's also a weird parallel between the two of them. Interesting, we had the tattoo showing through. Is the tattoo linked in some way? We've seen that before with Daniel and with other tattoos coming up in different contexts throughout the series. And we know that he has that like necromancy power as well, having one eat souls and then him also having a connection with souls, like feeding off of them, using them as a way of powering his own abilities and Shinsu and stuff. Again, a weird parallel of Daniel and Hoaqin going through the series. Doesn't seem much of a choice though. It seems like there might have been some other stuff going on to result in Daniel becoming the way that he is. Oh, are we getting backstory? We did have the whole thing of he died according to Bora and Akka, right? That might also be part of it, like a deal of I'm not going to eat your soul, but there's going to be some kind of corruption there. Again, a mutation of some kind for having an overarching theme throughout the chapter. These two are interesting dynamic. The back and forth of them. That smile. Again, rage at Rachel's existence. Pushing him what time? Huh? Pushing him that day. Which one? Because there was more than one. I would just like to have everyone be reminded of that, because I'm not gonna forget. I'm gonna be mad about it for a really long time. I guess that's part of it too, like her saying like, why did I hate Bomb and why did I want to take it away from him? I think that's a really interesting thing, is it isn't just envy or jealousy or like Bomb having that special quality to him that Rachel wants so badly. It's not just that she's mad about that. It's that she needs to take it away from him. It's not good enough for her to be as special or to fit into that special important category. She needs to take it away from other people, not just Bomb. It's other people that she encounters. She's, you have to be less special than me and I have to be special. It's an exchange instead of meeting other people at where they're at. Yeah. We also had the envy of the friends, because all the way back on the second floor, I think Kel's floor, we had that one moment where she was like in her own room and she was picturing, she was in like a shadow and then Bomb was like in the light surrounded by all these other people who were like all the friends that he had. Again, it's not enough for her to just make friends, right? She also has to separate Bomb from them. She has to take those friends away in some way, which is a whole other level of petty. Interesting too, of not caring about how bringing people together or what the quality of that relationship is. It's just, are they useful to me? Which is very different from how Bomb feels, right? It's certain people he wants to be friends with and bring together for a united purpose. Twisted. Rachel has layers, I'll admit that. I just don't like what I see. Okay, we have 10:30 if I can like process numbers for a second. So we have half an hour before everything goes down. Okay, so we know Kun's coming. He's en route. If we haven't left yet, we're dealing with some things. Yeah, y'all better run. Yeah, you need to be boarding that train in an hour and a half. Less, because you need to actually board the train. We already knew last time we didn't make the train, we only got 2 people on. And what, we don't have the special item anymore, do we? Because he threw the knife. Maybe we could. He still has it, but look, the whole point is, last time it didn't really work out for us. Maybe we make it on time. Maybe. I know you're asking me to trust you, but we don't have a great track record with that. I'm just saying. The intensity of, hey. Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, where's Akka? Where's... Oh, there you are. Hello, gentle giant. Who do we have? Oh yeah, we were tracking down one of the other people that was on the train, right? One of the old group. It seems like there's a lot of blame being thrown around right now. Not exactly helpful. Sachi. You seem a little judgmental. However, the character design is pretty cool. The fanboying that's happening in the background. Ooh, do we have an eye patch situation going on? Oh, he's awake. Yep. Wow, look at the art in that panel. Need an appreciation moment. Yeah, we were gonna eat some souls, weren't we? Are we gonna meet up? Because are Wangnan and Ian gonna have a moment to maybe do that? Are we taking them with them? Or are we leaving them on the train while we're gone? I find it interesting that no one would reach out a hand for me. Bomb did? I think I'm just so bitter that here's the thing. So much of Rachel's character is like, she wants to be special. She wants to be the most important. She wants to be like the axis in which other things spin around, right? She is literally all of those things for Bomb. At least to a certain point. I'm sure that the relationship between the two of them is a lot rockier right now. It's far more complicated, but season 1, that is exactly who she was. Like, she was the absolute most important person in his entire existence. He would literally drop everything to do anything that she wanted. He just wanted to be with her and would reach out a hand and help her and like literally give her anything, do anything, like no questions asked. he would have been there for all of it. I think that that somehow gets under her skin, right? Because I think that she doesn't see herself as special, right? She wants to be special. She wants to be perceived that way. But to her, at this moment, she doesn't have what it takes to do that, right? She thought like being accepted into the tower would prove that to her, right? She has been chosen by the tower, and that is why she is special. And she can see herself as special because she has proof of it now. But then finding out that's not what happened is she doesn't see herself as special, which means that when Bam saw her that way, saw her through the lens of this is the most important person in existence, it was like rubbing salt in the wound because no one else saw her that way, which doesn't justify that feeling or that perspective. It doesn't prove the point in some way, which is the whole point. That you're never going to be the most important and the most special and the most pivotal point of everyone's life. You're going to be the most important person to specific people because of the relationship that you build with them. Her talking about, like, I don't care about how the relationship is built, if it's a fake friendship, how I bring people together, I just want to do it. That's completely against the whole point of, if you want to be special to someone, if you want to be the most important, it is to specific people for specific reasons because you've built a relationship with them that makes you matter. The people that I live in my life are not the most important to most people. The majority of the people on the planet don't even know that they exist, but they are the most important to me because of the relationship that I have with them, right? That's like the whole point. Bob is important, not just because he has protagonist syndrome of like, he has some weird cosmic power inside of him, but also because the friends that he made season 1 didn't know how powerful he was, didn't know that he was important. He was important to them because of the person that he is and the relationship that they built with him. That's the whole point, Rachel. And I just want to give her a good smack and be like, this is the point. No one will reach out a hand. Bob did. And then you pushed him twice. Not that I'm salty about the whole thing, but even Daniel with Rowan, right? Rowan is the most important person to Daniel because of the relationship built there, and not because she's some kind of, maybe I could be proven wrong as the plot develops, but not because she is some important key piece to, I don't know, something significant going on in the world. It's because she's important to Daniel that she becomes an important piece to everything that's going on. It is the relation to Daniel and the actions that he is taking and the people that he's involving and the extent to which he is willing to go to bring her back and protect her and have her in his life that is making Rowan important. I hope I'm explaining myself, but that's one of the key points I feel of the whole series. I get why Rachel is playing that part within the narrative, but girl, it's the whole point. You missed it. It flew over your head. Oh, you happened to be around thanks to Emily? That's not ominous. I bet it was useful. I bet all of the pieces are exactly where they're supposed to be right now. Ominous thump. Should we? Maybe we should warn about Emily, but also I guess the train is here and the clock has started to tick, right? Oh, we got a waiting game of chicken, or maybe not. The glow is like the glow, but then the red kind of like almost has this like blood stain feeling in the background. It might very well be given the kinds of things that seem to be happening on this train. Just like this angelic image in the front and then this ominous like almost like blood stain in the back is like, what do you mean you can hear the breathing? Why you gotta be so creepy? All right, fine. Let's just jump into this chapter, which I'm assuming is going to be chaotic. Like the moment that this walks off the train. Yes, this is the altar where we're meeting, which seems to be where everything is going to get topsy-turvy like the last time we tried to board on the train. Everybody get ready. Especially with the message going out, right? It's this huge message trying to get as many people there as possible. I'm assuming because they're going to want to feed a bunch of souls to Hoaqin. Also, we have some repeating characters coming back, right? From the last time that wouldn't have gotten on because they made the train leave early with the group that stole the train. It's cool to like bring characters back. I don't like that I rely on Emily for everything these days. Maybe don't. I said all the way back at the beginning of when Emily was introduced, I'm like, where do we know this information is coming from, and how do we know that it's actually unbiased or that it's in our best interests or that we can trust it, which has only been proven the more that it's been like manipulated to get people to behave the way that whoever is in power wants them to. Oof. And they're all gathering in the same place like an altar. I feel like it's literally just a meal waiting for Hoaqin outside the door. Yeah, I don't like the idea of letting this person off the train. Okay, so we can't actually leave the train. I feel like that won't deter what is about to happen. Or maybe they're gonna have to wait till people start to board, but I'm assuming that distance will not be an issue in this case. Oh, seems some people know who that is and are going to get involved in some way. Good to know that there's a contract that's keeping them in place. I'm like, I don't want them to be set free on the world either. Even if it is the corrupted, usually not great tower. Yeah, he's hangry, so not that I want to help with that in some way because it does involve eating souls. Yep, look at the shadows on her creepy, punchable face. Sorry. Look, sometimes the inside thoughts make their way out. Just, look, she's fictional. So I'm allowed to be a little bit more petty than I would be in other contexts. I just feel like someone should beat her up. I'm not saying who or for what. I'm just saying I would like a front row seat. I don't like the smile. They're both in this half shadow. You both freak me out, and I don't like that you're teamed up in some way. Yeah, I guess if like you can't leave the train or you can't leave like a certain vicinity of the train. Again, I feel like we're gonna find some loophole to make this work. That was like the whole point of having everyone gather on the altar that's literally right outside the train. But I also feel like Daniel is trying to save those people. He's one, I have a deal to get Rowan back, and if you mess it up, I'm gonna get pissed, right? I'm making you keep your side of the deal, and I'm going to keep mine. So remember that. But I also feel like there's part of him being like, I don't want a massacre because we've unleashed Hoaqin on this group of people. This look that he's sharing with Rachel and her smiling at him is partly because there's an acknowledgement there of we both have more planned and more in store than what they're saying or what their actions are showing right now. They both have a bunch of different layers to what they're doing and why they're doing it. I definitely believe that he would cut off Daniel's head if given the chance. But we also had the group that was like, we'll take him out if he shows his face again. Wow. Look at that though. Epic shot. And I feel like everyone should be like a little bit afraid. Yeah. That is at least the confirmation that you need of what's going on, right? And that he's awake. Okay, if we stay on the little platform, does that count as still being on the train? Like the staircase? I also noticed this person. I don't know if it's just like the red hair with the blue, and I like the contrast, like the orange and blue just makes my brain go, ooh, because it's complementary colors, or if this is specifically because we're supposed to notice them. We'll see. Is it foreshadowing, or is it just my brain being easily distracted? Okay, so we got an Airy family. I got that it was one of the 10 families. White hair, use swords, one of the strongest families. See, I see the white hair. I'm like the white, blue, I'm like Kuhn family. And then if we say swords, didn't we have that with, we've had 2 people so far. The one that is with Bodo, and then we had one in season 1 where it was like the swords that get passed down through the families. I feel like it's not the same one because I'm not remembering the name, but maybe I'm just wrong. And they didn't have white hair. They were like blonde. And I'm like thinking back through all the other things. Oh, was it Urik? Doesn't he have white hair? Is it connected? I'm thinking because he had the like aggressive let's fight energy, and Airy makes me think of Ares, who's like the god of war. So I'm wondering if there's a connection there, maybe? I don't know. I'm just saying things because if I don't point them out, like the person in the crowd with the orange hair, and then it comes back later and it is actually important, I don't want to be like, dang it, I didn't say something when I should have. Was he always that tiny? Maybe just because he's hungry? It's a little bit terrifying. Oh gosh, they're all so unaware of what's about to happen. Oh, okay, we're just doing beheadings then. All right, literally a battle royale feeling going on. Sure, whatever, fine. I mean, we know that he likes to play games that result in murder. So yeah, like I said, I don't think distance is gonna be an issue with what we want to accomplish. Dang. Oh, geez. Interesting with the line work though, that it's sketchy and obscured and stuff. But also, I guess it's like a way of, I'm assuming, to feed on the souls. Like if a bunch of people lose their heads, it's a way to eat those souls without having to put in the work. Dude, you shouldn't be that quick to volunteer. I know that we just saw what happened. That was like, if you don't, this is gonna happen to you, but still. I need people to be less ready to do this. Dang, I feel like you're a giant, but you don't seem like a gentle giant, so I'm not going to adopt you. I also feel like you might be dragon fodder. I don't like your chances of surviving this particular ordeal. Interesting. We had the guy in the suit who was like before who was interested. The smile is creepy, especially the irises. Like the irises are like gray. So when you lose the definition around them, it all blends together and it's almost, his eyes are like whiting out. Creepy. Creepy. Look at that face. Ugh. I knew that things were gearing up. I knew that we were getting there. And this feels more like we're getting, like I said, it feels like everyone's getting to where they need to be in order for things to progress. And this feels like kind of the moment before, right? Where we're like, now we have Bodo and his group are there with Daniel and his group, and like the reconnection of those 2 worlds, and Hoaqin being there and the history and the connection there, and other people getting involved who seem to know what's going on, right? We've had lots of people being like, wait, is that who we think it is? And they shouldn't be awake. And turns out that he is awake. And now we have visual proof and outside of the train. So this is a bit of an opportunity to take him out or get him to leave the train so that the deal is broken. There's a bunch of different things that are going on of other people getting involved and freaking out at what's going on. I think that it's interesting to get this dynamic of what is the rest of the tower's reaction to what's going on, because Bomb and his group, yeah, they're rushing and they're trying to get there. And that's our core group that we're interested in as the reader, because we spent so much time with them. But that interest is Rachel and what she has planned. Whereas there's so much else going on as we introduce more characters and more dynamics and history and learn more about the people who are involved in all of this, especially again, if rankers in general do not get involved with the way that the train works. Is this an exemption of that, right? Is this one of those moments where people are going to get involved who are rankers, not just because we now have Foog and Bomb involved in it, but because Hoaqin is there and there is an extra layer of being worried about what's going on, right? Especially if those activities start to exit the train, right? It is now technically he's still on the train, but it's a blurred line. And at that point, are rankers going to get involved because there is more of a threat there, especially with the manipulation through Emily, right? Now they have a way of communicating outside from within the train to manipulate people in order to come in contact with Hoaqin and their plans and to have things happen whilst also on the Hell train. It's not as isolated as it would be in other instances. There's lots of different things like building up to get to this point as Bomb and his group take a backseat in these couple of chapters because they were more of a focal point before that. And just really interesting to see the dynamic there, but also terrifying. Scary. We've had antagonists up to this point where I'm just like, this stresses me out. They seem super powerful. They have so many different plans, like what's going on. And Beta was like unhinged in a way that like there was a certain unpredictability to him, but not in the same way. Hoaqin is scary in the like extremely powerful and unhinged and a strong sense of grandiosity. It is all coming together into this really scary mixture, especially since we've had lots of times with Bomb specifically of people pointing at the kind of power that he has and him continuously saying, I don't want to be a god. I don't want to be worshipped. I don't want to be in that role. And Hoaqin's the opposite of that, of what would that be like if you had all of that immense power and importance in the plans and scale of what's going on in the tower, and you believe that you deserved to be a god and to be worshipped, right? It's fascinating to see the different sides of the coin that those two are, but also really scary. And great use of like different art styles in this too. I love that we're bringing in this use of like line work and like the sketchy line work to show this like instability or immense emotion, right? Like when there's a really emotionally charged moment, you'll have this sketchy line work like we've had with Daniel at previous points to show that instability with him, and then the sketchy line work kind of leaking in to Hoaqin when that cool demeanor diminishes and the lines kind of sketch out, the eyes get obscured, and it adds a different energy to the characters. It's just like a really cool detail that's been like added into the art style as it continues to develop. But stressed. We had a bit of a win in the last couple of chapters we checked out, only to very quickly be put into a position that just makes me like crunch up into a ball because it stresses me out. But I hope you enjoyed reading that along with me. You can click this playlist to go see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.